Have you ever wondered what would happen if the fate of an entire world rested in the hands of someone completely ordinary? Not a warrior, not a king, not a chosen one, just a quiet little hobbit who'd rather stay home with a cup of tea and some mushrooms? That's where this story begins, far from glory, in the peaceful hills of the Shire, with a hobbit named Frodo Baggins, who never wanted anything to do with danger, let alone saving Middle-earth. But here's the twist. Sometimes, it's the quietest hearts that carry the loudest destinies. Now imagine this, there's a ring. Not just any ring. It's ancient, golden, and small enough to slip onto your finger, but it holds within it the power to enslave entire nations. It corrupts anyone who wears it, twists their mind, drains their soul. And this ring, crafted by the Dark Lord Sauron himself, somehow ends up in Frodo's hands. Well, long story short, it was passed down to him from his uncle Bilbo, who stumbled upon it years earlier during an unexpected adventure with dwarves and dragons. But what no one realized then was that this seemingly innocent trinket was the One Ring, the weapon of ultimate darkness. And now, the shadow that once fell over the world is creeping back. Sauron is rising, and he's hunting for his ring. This is where things get really interesting. Instead of running, instead of hiding, Frodo makes a choice. A quiet, almost trembling choice, but a brave one. He agrees to carry the ring, to leave behind the only home he's ever known, and travel into the unknown. And he's not alone. Alongside him are 3 other hobbits, Samwise Gamgee, Merry, and Pippin. Friends who don't know exactly what they've signed up for, but who follow him anyway, through forests, mountains, and horrors they never could have imagined. Now here's what's fascinating. This isn't just a journey from one place to another. It's a journey that strips each character down to their rawest truth. It tests their loyalty, tempts their hearts, and reveals what they're truly made of. But let me tell you something surprising. Frodo might be the ring bearer, but the heart of this story? It's Samwise Gamgee. A gardener. A simple soul. But his love, his loyalty, his refusal to let Frodo fall, that becomes the glue that holds everything together when the world starts breaking apart. There's a moment, deep into the journey, where Frodo can't go on. He's collapsing under the weight of the ring, both physically and emotionally. And Sam doesn't try to take the ring, doesn't try to be the hero. He just says, "I can't carry it for you, but I can carry you." It's goosebumps. Pure, selfless love. That one line? It tells you everything about what this story really is. It's not just about power or evil or destiny. It's about friendship. It's about choosing hope even when everything's falling to pieces. Of course, they're not the only ones in this fight. Enter Aragorn, the lost heir to the throne of Gondor, a ranger who hides from his past but can't escape his calling. He's rugged, noble, and tormented by the fear that he might fail when it matters most. Then there's Legolas, the elven prince with eyes like starlight and a bow that never misses. Gimli, the stubborn dwarf with a warrior's heart and unexpected charm. And Gandalf, the wizard who knows too much and smiles too little, carrying centuries of wisdom and sorrow in every step. They come together to form the Fellowship, 9 companions, 1 mission: destroy the ring by casting it into the fires of Mount Doom, where it was forged. But here's the catch, getting there means walking straight into the enemy's heartland. And not everyone will survive. Let me ask you, how do you stay good when the world is pushing you toward darkness? That's the question haunting every character in this story. Take Boromir, for example. A warrior of Gondor. Strong, proud, noble. But the ring whispers to him too. Promises him strength to save his people. And in a moment of weakness, he tries to take it. He fails. But in his final breath, he redeems himself. He dies protecting the hobbits. He dies with honor. And that's what makes this story so human. No one is perfect. Everyone struggles. But even in the worst of them, there's a flicker of light. And then, there's Gollum. Gollum. Perhaps the most tragic figure of them all. Twisted by the ring, obsessed with it, broken beyond recognition, but still not completely lost. Gollum is a reflection of what Frodo could become. His presence isn't just creepy, it's a warning. The longer Frodo carries the ring, the more he starts to understand Gollum. And you begin to wonder, are they really that different? Is Frodo saving the world, or is he slowly falling under the same spell? Every step they take is a battle, against monsters, against armies, but mostly against themselves. The ring doesn't scream or shout. It whispers. It seduces. And watching Frodo fight to hold onto his own soul while carrying the very object that wants to consume it, that's where the true tension lies. That's the real enemy. Because here's the secret no one talks about. In The Lord of the Rings, evil isn't just a tower or a dark lord. It's a choice. A temptation. A slow, creeping fog that can twist even the purest heart. And while all this is happening, war erupts across Middle-earth. The kingdom of Rohan stands on the brink of collapse. The city of Gondor prepares for its final stand. Armies of orcs, trolls, and unspeakable creatures pour out of Mordor like a living nightmare. And in the middle of it all, tiny glimmers of courage emerge. Ordinary men picking up swords, elves marching into battle one last time, kings returning to lead when all seems lost. It's massive. It's breathtaking. But beneath the epic scale lies something deeply personal. Everyone, no matter how small, has a role to play. And that's what makes the story feel so intimate. What do you think happens next? Can Frodo resist the ring all the way to the end? Will Sam be enough to hold him together? Can Middle-earth survive the rising tide of shadow? The answers aren't simple. And that's the brilliance of it. Because sometimes, it's not about winning. It's about holding on, just long enough for the light to break through the dark. So here we are, deep into the Shadowlands, with Frodo and Sam climbing jagged rocks, starving, sleepless, crawling toward Mount Doom while everything around them screams to give up. And here's where it gets absolutely brutal. Frodo starts to fade. Not just physically, his mind begins to slip. He doesn't trust Sam. He trusts Gollum instead. Gollum, who's been slithering around, manipulating, waiting for his moment. And then it happens, Frodo sends Sam away. That moment? It's like watching the sun go out. The one person who's carried him through every nightmare gets cast aside because the ring is tightening its grip. And yet, Sam doesn't leave. He doesn't give up. He climbs back. He fights for Frodo even when Frodo can't fight for himself. Meanwhile, far from that desperate climb, the rest of the world is bleeding. Aragorn steps into his destiny, finally embracing who he was always meant to be. The king. And not because he wants power, but because people need hope. He rallies an army. He stares into the mouth of death and still marches forward. But because he knows the only way Frodo might succeed is if they distract Sauron, make him look the other way. It's madness. It's suicide. But they do it anyway. They stand at the Black Gate, outnumbered, hopeless, and still raise their swords. That moment? That's the definition of courage. Knowing you probably won't survive, but standing anyway. Back at the mountain, Frodo and Sam make it. Somehow, through ashes and agony, they reach the edge of the fire. Just one more step, one more breath, and then Frodo stops. He turns to Sam and says something that chills the soul. "The ring is mine." Just like that, after all that struggle, all that sacrifice, he claims it, puts it on, disappears. And it's like, no, this can't be how it ends. But remember Gollum? He's been watching, waiting. He leaps, bites off Frodo's finger, gets the ring, and in that twisted, chaotic second, he dances, laughing, finally reunited with his precious, and slips, falls, into the fire, ring and all, gone. Just like that. Not because Frodo triumphed, but because Gollum's madness collided with fate. Evil destroyed itself. And that's the twist. The ring wasn't destroyed by willpower or virtue. It was destroyed by mercy. By the decision to spare Gollum earlier, when killing him would have been so easy. That act of compassion became the final domino. The mountain explodes. Fire rains down. The ring is gone. And Frodo? He's done. Collapsed. Spent. Ready to die. And once again, it's Sam. He lifts him. Holds him. And in what might be one of the most gut-wrenching moments in the entire book, he just whispers, "I'm glad to be with you, Samwise Gamgee, here at the end of all things." But it's not the end. Eagles come. The sky clears. They're rescued. Middle-earth begins to heal. Aragorn is crowned king. Peace, at last, starts to take root. But not for Frodo. And this is the part no one tells you. Some wounds don't heal. Some scars go too deep. Frodo saved the world, but he lost something of himself in the process. And so he sails away, to a distant land, leaving behind the Shire, his friends, and everything he knew. Because heroes don't always ride off into sunsets with smiles. Sometimes, they disappear quietly, carrying the weight of the world they saved. So what's the point of all this? It's not just fantasy. It's not about swords and sorcery. It's about choice, about mercy, about how the smallest voice can shift the loudest war, about how evil thrives on fear, but collapses under love, about how power, real power, isn't in dominating others, it's in choosing not to. The Lord of the Rings isn't just a story. It's a mirror, reflecting what we all face. Our own darkness, our own choices. And the question it whispers over and over is this: when your moment comes, will you carry the ring? Or will you carry someone else? Feel like you're meant for more, but don't know how to get there? You're not alone. Every success story starts with doubt and a spark. The Self-Made Millionaire, Zero to Wealth isn't just a book. It's your roadmap to purpose, confidence, and success, built on real lessons from real millionaires. One reader said, "It didn't feel like a book. It felt like my future talking to me." Inside, you'll find the exact mindset and principles used by the world's most successful people. No fluff, just real, life-changing wisdom. Ready to take the first step? Get it 100% free. Just subscribe and comment "book" below.